Yo, g'day world, Macca coming to you live from Myriad 2018, proudly brought to you by Everledger and Invest Sunshine Coast. We're here with, Danielle, sorry, I didn't fill out the info. How are you doing today?
Yeah, good, thanks, Macca. I'm loving Myriad, great people, great energy.
Yeah, good vibes all around?
Yeah, absolutely.
And what's been the highlight so far? We're coming to the end of the day.
Just awesome people, meeting passionate people, building businesses, startups, government, investors all in one place at one time. It's just been an awesome experience. Met some great people.
Yeah. And any key people stand out, to support you and what you're doing, or?
Probably no one specific. If anything, actually, I met some great students earlier that I'd love to convince to come and join our graduate program. But otherwise, just really hearing about what's happening in the smart city space, the IoT space, and also just generally in innovation, particularly here in Queensland. So there's obviously a lot going on.
Yeah. So give us a little bit of an overview on what your company does.
Yeah, sure. So Smarter Technology Solutions essentially is a system integrator to help cities deliver upon their technology vision for their smart cities. And what that really means is we pull together sensors and networks and software and build those into functioning ecosystems, and with a real focus on actual outcomes, not just the technology, but actually delivering value and the data and insights that councils really need. And so we're here with the Ipswich branch, because we're also a member of Fire Station 101, and Ipswich being one of our customers, Sunny Coast, Gold Coast, they're all sort of here, and some of the more emerging councils that we just started working with from the regional areas, they're here as well, so it's just awesome to catch up with them all.
Yeah, good to all get back together. And you were talking off camera before that you did the bin censoring for the council on the Sunny Coast with the your bin censoring, and you're doing some projects in Darwin. Yeah.
So the bin sensing for Sunshine Coast essentially just gives them insight into how full their rubbish bins are in real time. And what that really has done for a council is help them understand if they're over or under servicing their bins, allowing them to be really efficient in how they collect those bins, and also right down to making the truck take the most efficient route to minimise traffic congestion and fuel and carbon emissions, all that sort of stuff. So it sort of has far-reaching impacts, and that's just talking about a rubbish bin.
Yeah. And we did a tour for Startup Week, Sunny Coast last year in November, and I think we walked around and saw the bin sensors and got a bit of footage of that. So yeah, some cool tech happening in the coast.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the big thing with that is, of course, obviously to the ratepayer, the cost savings that go with that, the efficiency, we don't end up with litter in the waterways, there's kind of really broad impact, and I'm a bit of a greenie, so it's nice to see the sustainability impact as well.
Yeah, and we got to keep our awesome coast and other communities nice and clean.
Absolutely.
No bin overflows. Yeah. So you said you're working on a big project. It sounded like a lot of money was going into it in Darwin.
So in Darwin, we're helping them as a consulting engagement, helping them deliver across they got a $10 million project for switching on Darwin. Essentially, they're trying to revitalise their CBD, and that was match funding from the federal government, $5 million, Northern Territory government, $2.5 million, and $2.5 million from the local council. This space is really great to see the federal, state, local governments collaborating, but also involving people like the universities and really creating local opportunities. But the one in Darwin, it's a whole range of different technology, but really about public safety, basically connecting public Wi-Fi for the tourism and extending that's reach. But there's also some really deep social impacts around antisocial behaviour, homelessness, and making services available to those that otherwise wouldn't have access. There's some great outcomes coming from these programs, and obviously down in the detail, it's all about the technology that kind of underpins it all. But it's really nice to see the human element and the real results that come out of it.
Yeah. So walk us through some of the cool tech that you're working on, like other than sensors and stuff like that. Is there anything that's really exciting? Like I myself. I've been playing around with Alexa and AI, so my room's fully voice controlled.
Yep.
So anything exciting like that in terms of smart homes, or?
Yeah, well, look, our engineers certainly are also into the voice activated, lights, and my garage I can open from my smartphone, and that's actually how the company got started, but it's a totally different story. And
tell us.
Yeah, so I just kept leaving my garage door open, and I gathered that there was a way to monitor and remotely check and close it. And I do have that now, but it took me out on a tangent about my dad working in the mining company, getting gas alarms and needing to go get a book off a shelf to figure out what it meant. And the more we looked into it, the more we realised that certainly for places like councils or cities, when they're managing such large amounts of infrastructure, having them digitally connected and knowing what the status of them is and knowing, the condition of something or whether it's on or off, it makes a huge difference when you're managing such a large quantity of things. And it was just too big an opportunity not to do something with. And then we were lucky enough to sort of get in with some of the early movers in the smart city space. As I mentioned, Sunny Coast was probably 3 or 4 years ago now. And we've been doing repeat work with them. We've just finished a large program with Ipswich where we did helping them understand the car park capacities, the public safety. Autonomous lawn mowing is the one that seems to get a lot of attention out there. Smart irrigation, smart lighting to be able to optimize the energy efficiency of streetlights. And the list kind of just goes on, but it's an awesome space.
And covering all fields from the community to international guests coming in and being able to access to Wi-Fi and
absolutely. And then last week we were at the Australian Smart Communities Association. So again, getting together with some of the global minds. There was people from Europe and the US. So just learning what's happening globally. And how that applies locally, and then talking with even just the different Queensland regions, the city problems versus the northern Queensland problems versus the really remote councils, the different challenges that they have. Because out in Dalby, parking's not an issue, but maybe when we get a huge influx of rain, maybe the flood's an issue, or what have you. So it's really cool to hear about those local challenges.
And it's good to hear from other people facing different problems. And from a global level, have you been able to go and see other different smart cities? What other smart cities are there out there? And what are they working on that's different? So different regions, I guess Singapore is kind of a beacon that's often referred to. I'm actually seeing a lot of correlation now between the work we're doing in Darwin and their CBD being a really hot environment, and Singapore have previously run programs to green their cities to keep the air temperature down. And so even just monitoring the environmental controls or the temperature and humidity and things, and understanding what works and what doesn't when you're trying to cool a city. It's something called the heat island effect for anyone who kind of knows what they're talking about in that space. So Singapore has been really cool to apply directly to what we're sort of doing in Darwin. Obviously places like San Francisco have already done a lot with smart parking to be able to find and inform how much the parking is utilised and help cities plan their parking better. There's a number of councils in Australia where we've done that with now, so it's mostly the capital regions that have that kind of challenge, but it's great to see the similarities and differences. So. Awesome stuff. Well, is there anything, how can our audience get in touch with you and find what you're working on? So
I guess with technology, it's probably the easiest way, smartertechnologysolutions.com.au. We've got a live chat on our website, which has been great to engage with customers where they're just browsing. Drop us an email to info@smartertechnologysolutions.com.au. Tell us basically, we want to understand what your challenges are and we can help you pair the technology to solve those challenges. And obviously help inform what others are doing, because that sort of feeds the discussion and around innovation and drawing on the experiences of others. So it's great to hear.
And one final question: why is it important to collaborate? Why is it important?
Well, I think there's probably 2 key reasons. I think one is it saves you a hell of a lot of time. And you don't then have to go through the failures yourself. You can kind of learn from those who've done it before, and you can make different mistakes. So, I think collaboration and also just people having different backgrounds and having different perspectives and being able to challenge the way things are done, I just think that's really valuable and important.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us.
No worries.
And be sure to keep watching for more live content. It's heading to the end of the day. Everyone's rushing around trying to make connections.
Absolutely.
But thanks to Everledger and Invest Sunshine Coast for letting us be here, and catch you in the next one.
Awesome. Thank you.